Buongiorno, good morning from Roma, Italy. Come stai? How are you? Welcome to Choice, Change and Action podcast. So you could say I'm being lazy or you could just say I'm being smart because I am doing a little intro for an excerpt that we're going to put on this podcast from a Getting Out of Debt Joyfully class that I did many, many years ago in Poland. It's actually on the Access Me app, which I would love to take this moment to talk to you about the Access Me app. It's incredible. There's like at least 25 years of classes with myself, Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, Dr. Dane here, co-creator, all the old classes that we've done. There's so much on there. You type in bodies, you type in magic, you type in money, you type in business, you type in relationships, type in sex, anything, and the whole plethora of classes is available for you to listen to. So, including a lot of things about money. And let's face it, who do you know at the moment who's walking around going, yay, I'm really great with money? Like, I've got all the money I need and I don't have a problem. Everybody is talking about the struggles that they have with money. I mean, even, retail, like luxury brands are saying they're down, 45 to 50% in sales. So there's so much going on. But here's the thing. First, number one, I want you to ask when you wake up or throughout the night or whenever it is that you wake up and start stressing about money. Actually, two things with this. Number one, has stress ever created anything greater for you? I think not. Okay. So stress is not going to create something greater. So if you ask a question. What's right about this I'm not getting? Who does this belong to? Okay, that's the second tool here. Who does this belong to? You are way more aware and way more psychic than what you've been willing to acknowledge. And you keep picking up on other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions about money. It's not yours, okay? It's not yours. So listen to this excerpt from a class that I did in Poland. And, you know, I talk a little bit about how when I finally realized I was $187,000 in debt, I honestly thought someone was going to come and just be like, it's okay, Simone, that we made a mistake. It's all going to go away. And I finally realized this is not going away and I need to change something. I need to choose a different reality with my finances, with my money. I need to, start using some tools, the access consciousness tools, which I pretty much refused to use around money. I started using them and my financial reality changed. Now, I want to just do a little caveat here because is it called a caveat? When, Getting Out of Debt Joyfully, it's a book I wrote. It's in many languages. It's on Audible as well. I actually have a class coming up soon and it's online only. So I very much invite you to start that class with me. It starts in August, on August the 6th. That's Australian 6th. So that means the 5th in the US, etc. So it starts soon. But here's the thing is, wow, I just totally lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? Anyway, oh, that's right. We all go through these different stages with money, right? So I was, in debt. To me, it was a lot of money. Some of you might be more in debt. Some of you might be less. You might, be 10,000 or 5,000 or 1,000 in debt, or it could be 1,000,000, anything, right? Same points of view apply. So when you use these tools, you can change that. Now, I changed my financial reality. I have money, I have investments, I don't struggle, I'm in all of this and more. And yet there's this energy around, like, my expenses are way higher. And recently I'm like, gosh, there's just an energy that shifted in my world. And I went recently looking at some houses in Italy to maybe purchase with a friend of mine. And we didn't find anything we liked, but gosh, did we gain a lot of awareness. And I said to my friend on the way back, I said, hey, what awareness did you gain? And he said, the most thing I gained was this inspiration to create again, to create more. And for me, that is such a key piece. If you start demanding more to show up, like that instant actualization, the magic, allowing chaos, allowing yourself to be out of control with so many different situations, including money, then more can show up. But you have to ask and you have to be in question. Okay. So getting out of debt joyfully is not just for people who are in debt. It is for them. And yet, even if you have money, Like right now, I'm using the same tools. During the class I start in August, I will be using those tools, and they're very pragmatic. And I will be doing the home plan myself because I would like to increase my income. I would like to increase the revenue streams, supporting the revenue streams, etc. Even if you just take that away today, ask how many more revenue streams can I receive, and also ask what revenue streams can support this revenue, because I see so many really creative people and they're like this. What revenue stream is going to support it? Okay, that's such a good tool. So please enjoy this excerpt from Getting Out of Debt Joyfully in Poland many years ago, and please subscribe to this podcast. It's like, rate us, tell me if you love it or hate it or whatever. And if there's anything in particular you'd like, also slide into our DMs on Instagram and let us know, and share it, do whatever. But mostly choose for you, okay? Choose what works for you. That's what Access Consciousness is about. That's what I would like you to have, is the choice to choose anything. And guess what that includes? Money, okay? Financial freedom, you might call it, or just the choice. Like, this is our life. This is your life. Are you living as much as you would like to? Anyway, I hope to see you on the Getting Out of Debt Joyfully class as well. I also have, like in August, I have relationships done different. I have business done different. And there's a bigger sort of mentorship program, big business energy. So anything you're interested, go to my website, SimoneMilasas.com, and it's all there. So big hugs to wherever you are in the world, and please enjoy. Okay, so welcome everybody to Getting Out of Debt Joyfully, a little mini class. So Getting Out of Debt Joyfully is a book that I wrote. You have it over there. It's been translated in Polish. It's been translated into about, I think it's like 9 different languages now, that book. And it's created a great deal of change for so many people. And the reason why I wrote it is because I was $187,000 in debt about 17 years ago now. I know, I'm only 21. It's weird, isn't it? I was 4 years old when I was in debt. No. But it was about 17 years ago when I met Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, and Dr. Dane here. And I realized that I was creating a lot of debt. I was creating massive amounts of debt. You couldn't tell. Like, I wasn't one of those people who walked around going, oh my God, poor Peter for me. I have no money. It's like, I have a lack. I actually looked like I had money. Because also, if you said to me, do you want to go here shopping? Do you want to get this? Do you want to do that? I was like, yes, that would be great. And I was definitely living a champagne lifestyle, as they say, on a beer budget. And I realized that I kept thinking that my money situation was going to change. Someone was going to come along and wave a magic wand and change my financial reality, and I'd wake up and I'd have money in the bank account. And I loved the Access Consciousness tools. When I met Gary and Dane and heard the tools, I was like, oh my God, this is everything that I knew is possible. Like, when I heard these guys talk about, tools in different areas of your life. So I was using the Access Consciousness tools. And then one day in a class, I'm sitting in the class, as you guys are, and I'm listening to them talk about these tools using with money. And I'm like, oh yeah, here we go again, blah, 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 tools on money, And I was sitting there and I thought, you know what? This is crazy. Every other area that I've used the Access Consciousness tools has worked and has changed areas of my life. So what if I just gave this a shot, What if I just tried these tools out? And the one thing that I demanded of myself at that moment too was I was going to do it for me, not for anyone else. And because I noticed years before that, I used to smoke cigarettes. And when I decided to give up smoking cigarettes, everyone went, you're not going to be able to give up cigarettes. Like, you love smoking, you're not going to be able to do it. And I noticed no one was encouraging me and going, yay, do this, Simone, you can do it. We've got your back. So within 2 weeks, it's like when I was giving up smoking, I found that I was smoking again. So I went, aha, and realized the cruel world that I was living in is that I couldn't really rely on somebody else to give me the support and energy at that time to commit to something I wanted to change. So I sat in the audience and I went, okay, I'm going to make a demand of myself and a request of the universe to change my financial reality. What can I start with? what are some of the tools that I could start with? So I started to use about 3 or 4 tools, which I can give to you tonight, 3 or 4 tools that started to change my financial reality. And I didn't tell anyone because I wanted to know that I could do it and I could create it. And not that I wasn't willing to receive assistance. It's like, how many people do you know if you meet up with somebody, and most people at a party or, you know, I don't know, Christmas time or something, they're always like, oh my God, the bills that are coming in are ginormous, you know, and then the kids' school fees came in, and then this and then that, and they're always complaining about their credit card, about how much money they don't have. And then what does the next person do standing next to them? They start doing the exact same thing. Almost like, oh, you know what? You're lucky, you've only got that. You know what I've got? And it's like they try and compete with each other for poverty. It's like, seriously? It's like, so here's one tool that I would like to give you is, what if the next time you were in a situation like that, when everyone is complaining about the lack of money, you go, you know what, I'm so sorry to hear that you have such a bad money problem. I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome. It's like, you know what, I'm having a lot of fun with money. And then stop. And they'll be like, what? Because it doesn't match this reality. And how many of you are trying to match this reality with the poverty mentality? Rather than be the one in the room that's going, no, I'm great, I'm cool with money. Which might mean you have $10 in the bank account, or 10 zloty, or $10,000, 10,000 zloty. It doesn't matter how much you have. It's like, it's your point of view. And that was one of the things I realized that I had to change, was my point of view around money. Because I also realized that all of the points of view I had around money, it's like, were they even mine? I mean, one of the things that I grew up with as a child around the dinner table, we weren't allowed to talk about business or money. It was considered rude. You know, sort of like that, you know, and they're gay. And it's like, talk about money. It's like you whisper it, or drugs. It's like there was topics that were taboo. You weren't supposed to talk about it. I wanted to talk about business and money. My dad was great at business. My brother studied business. I was interested in it. So I wanted to talk about it, but you weren't allowed to. You had to make it something that was not a family discussion, not something that was creative. It was something that you did over there, and then here you spoke about, you know, I don't know, the guy who lived down the road, brothers, sisters, aunt who, you know, just got married. And I'm like, really? That's our conversation? Rather than what can we create? So I realized that it wasn't my point of view not to talk about money. If someone asks a question about money, it's just money. So I have a 13-year-old son now, and any question he asks, I'll give him the information. If someone can ask a question, give him the information. And his father was taught growing up that you don't talk about money either. So every time he would ask and say, oh, how much is that? And he goes, it's none of your business. Whereas if Nash now asks me, how much is that? And I'm like, oh, tell him. Tell him how much it costs to create this. Or sometimes he'll be like, I wish you didn't have to travel so much. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, so if I didn't travel so much, it's like, it's my work. And I was like, then I'd be home, but you wouldn't have this, this, and this. Would that be okay with you? And then he goes, oh yeah, I really like that I get these things. And I'm like, okay. So give him the information of how this works, you know? So the first thing I did was change my point of view around money, and each and every time a point of view came up, I asked, is this my point of view around money? Is this somebody else's? Because how many of you are buying into the point of view around money that people in Poland have? I mean, what's the general consensus in Poland? That there's lots of money and let's share it around and woohoo! Or is it the struggle, you guys are less than in regards to money and economic, your economic status in Europe? It's like, you know, is that the point of view? And then do you be more as that rather than actually ask, well, what's my point of view around money? What if I was willing to be in the top 1%? And do you know what the top 1% earn? I don't know what it is in Poland either, but I know in America, it's about 400, you're going to Google it for me? Good. And about $450,000 US in America. If you earn that amount of money, you're in the top 1%. In Australia, it's about 430,000 Australian dollars. You're in the top 1%. It's not that much money. I know some of you are going, oh my God, it is a lot of money. It's not. You can actually create it. You can create more money. You can change your point of view around money and ask for more to show up. You have to be willing to take action though. You have to be willing to choose a different reality. Because I was really good at choosing the poverty mentality. I was really good at choosing to be in debt. And one of the things I realized as well is I liked being in debt. In fact, it was comfortable being in debt. I loved it. So one of my questions would be is, what do you love about being in debt? Or what do you love about having no money? When you ask that question, most people go, oh no, but I don't love it. Well, there's something you like about it if you're creating it. And as I was saying to many of you guys who were here, during the COP class that we're doing at the moment, is one of the things I realized is when I actually got out of debt, when I actually started using the tools and I realized I had money, I'm on my computer and I've got money in my bank account and I was like, wow. I was so disappointed because it felt so boring. It was like, and so many people I see use no money as the source of creation. If they have no money, then they'll have to get to work. If they have no money, and they wait to the last possible minute before they can create it. Rather than, what if you had too much money and never enough? Like what if every single year in January, you got given $1 million or €1 million into your bank account? What would you create? Would you still be doing the same job? Would you be living in the same house? What would you be choosing? I know for myself, I'd still be doing the same job. So I really like what I do. I really like that I get to travel around the world and, assist in changing people's lives if they choose it. So what would you be choosing? How many of you use no money as the source of creation? So that's what I was definitely doing. I was using no money as the source of creation. So I found myself back in debt after about 2 weeks of having money. And then I went, damn, what am I creating that for? What do I love about being in debt? Oh, I know it. I know it really, really well. I know what that's like. I know the comfort of being in debt. I can be the one at the party that's complaining about, having no money. I can compete with somebody else on how big my credit card bills are. I can do all of that. If I was the one that came in and went, oh no, all my credit cards are paid off and I actually have an abundance of money in my bank account. I'm like, what the fuck do you do with that? It's like, that's just strange, that's weird. So how many of you have created no money or just enough money? That's another favorite. Everyone goes, I seem to only create just enough money to pay the bills. And you just get in there and just pay the bills just in time. So everywhere that you've decided that having just enough money to pay the bills or having no money is the source of creation is the reality, the financial reality that you have to choose. Will you now please destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Anyone here not done access and just went, what the hell did she just say? Pock and pod. Okay, so if you don't know what it means, you can ask the person who dragged you along here. But anyway, it's a clearing statement. You can go to theclearingstatement.com and it works. It's great. It changes the points of view you have. It's like how many insane points of view do you have around money and around creating your financial reality? For me, one of the insane points of view I realized was that my father had told me that he wouldn't die, he wouldn't leave this planet until he knew all of his kids were financially stable. So my brother was doing well, my two stepsisters were doing well, I absolutely adored my father. So I went, okay, not cognitively, this is not cognitive. You don't go, I will now create myself as a financial mess. I just created myself as a financial mess so that my dad could look after me in some way. And not even monetarily, I wasn't even willing to receive from him. But I created myself as a financial mess and realized what I was creating and went, oh my God, this is insane. But that's the thing, you have these insane points of view that lock you up. So how many insane points of view do you have around money that keep you locked in a comfortable place of debt rather than an uncomfortable space of abundance. And everything that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So one of the other things, as I changed my point of view around money as well, and these things started to unlock, like realizing the insane points of view I had, etc. I also realized I was not receiving. I was very good at like, no, I will do it all on my own, arms crossed, hands on my hips, petulant. I don't need your money. I don't need this. I will support myself. And I also had the point of view that the only way I could earn money is if I worked for it. Like literally, like I worked 3 hours today, I get paid for 3 hours. How many of you have that point of view, that you have to actually put the hours in to receive the money? What if there was other ways to receive money? And everything that brought up, and everywhere you went, oh my God, what do I have to do now? Am I whoring myself around? Oh yeah, but that's still putting in the hours where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So one other thing I realized is my father, who adored me as well, and he desired to give me some money. Like he was always trying to give me money, and I was like, no, I won't have this. And as I started to use the Access Consciousness tools to change my financial reality, one of the places I did receive from was him. And he gave me a check for 50,000 Australian dollars that he wanted to give me for a very long time. And the interesting thing was, when that moment that I decided to receive it, and he gave me this check, I watched his whole body just relax and have this sense of peace about him. And I was like, holy shit. I have been so unkind to this man who all he wanted to do his whole life was give to his daughter, and I was refusing to receive. It's like $50,000 for how many years of being his daughter that he just wanted to give me this gift? And I was like, no, 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 no. And finally when I received it, he just relaxed, and he was like, he actually passed away 2 weeks after he helped me get my first house. And I knew that he was just like, phew, Simone's got some, financially stable in her life, according to him. And that was always so pleasing to him, and it was a kindness to him to receive. So how many people are you refusing to receive from and being incredibly unkind by refusing to receive, that if you actually started receiving, would not only change your financial reality, would change them? And everything that is, and it doesn't have to be cognitive. You don't have to go, oh my God, my Aunt May, or John Smith down the road, or my mother or my father. It's like, just start by going, okay, you know what? Enough. I'm not doing this anymore. I will start to receive, even if it makes me incredibly uncomfortable. So everything that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So changing my point of view around money, which, can you see how if you're willing to change your point of view around money, that it starts to ricochet all of these different areas? Like I realized the insane points of view. I realized, where I wasn't willing to receive. And it's so, but I was in question constantly of, is this my point of view around money? As soon as I heard myself, even in my head, say, I can't afford this, I'll never be able to afford this, that's too expensive, I changed my point of view. So one of the things I did too was I went into very expensive jewelry shops, or shops that sold expensive Rolexes, and I asked to try them on. Inside I'm going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But I was like, can I try that on? And please, go do this. Go try it on, try a ring on, pair of earrings, something, a watch, and be like, great, and go, how much is that? Okay, cool, awesome. Okay, thank you. Can I try that one on too? And as you're trying it on, in your head, pock and pod everything that doesn't allow you to be able to afford that. Because I remember the first time I was with Dane here, who is co-creator of Access, and we were in this shop in Australia, and we walked into the shop and he's looking at these watches, and he bought himself a $10,000 Rolex, and I was like, who the fuck does that? I was like, literally like, oh my God, he just walked into the shop. Aren't you supposed to take days and weeks to decide something like that? Isn't that something you save up for? And he just walks in, and within 20 minutes, he's got this watch on his hand. And I almost didn't even want to walk into the shop. I was so like, I'm not sure I even deserve to be in here sort of energy. And then I bought myself a Rolex many years later at Dubai. That's called having like 10 hours in Dubai airport and too much money on you. But I bought myself a Rolex, and I remembered that moment where I was just so shocked that Dane was able to do that. But I also remember pock and potting everywhere that I wasn't going to be able to do that. So please get that. I've been there, done that. It's like, and I had that point of view that I didn't even want to walk in the shop. It's like, I felt like they were going to go, excuse me, ma'am? Yeah, I'm sorry, you don't have enough money. You need to get out, you know? And you're like, that's not their point of view. Walk in there like you own it. It's like, okay, can I try that on? And then in your head, pock and pot everything that doesn't allow you to have that and know that you can have it.